And the seed that grows up in the sunlight, that reaches for the moonlight, will grow with love, will grow with love, will grow with love, will grow in love.
Welcome to the Fresh Toones Show. My name is Dave Pulse, and the theme of today's show is springtime planting. We've been waiting quite a while now to be able to get out and do our planting and get our gardens going. So I'm going to play some fresh tunes today that are directly related with that activity and hopefully get us pumped up to work in our gardens. I'd like to start out today's show with a song of mine called Plant Those Seeds with Love. Plant those seeds with love. Plant those seeds with love. It's a long, long road to freedom. It's a long, long road to hope. But we'll work those fields to make sure that justice grows. We're gonna plant those seeds of love, and that warmth will help them grow. They said it would never happen, no matter how hard you try. But history tells us different, and if it's right, then right will triumph. We're gonna plant those seeds with love, and that warmth will help them grow. It's been a long, long haul, and the struggle still goes on. And there's those who will never forget, and their love still keeps us strong. We're gonna plant those seeds with love, and that warmth will help them grow. It's a long, long road to freedom. It's a long, long road to hope. But we'll work those fields to make sure that justice grows. We're gonna plant those seeds of love, and that warmth will help them grow. Plant those seeds with love. We're gonna plant those seeds with love. We're gonna plant those seeds with love. We're gonna plant those seeds with love. Well, that seed planting song I really enjoy playing because I have a lot of good memories of having groups of young kids singing along with that song. I actually did a music video with that song and used some imagery that I used for a video that I worked on for Rochester Roots Incorporated, a program for kids to teach them how to grow food and how to prepare food. They would take these vacant lots in the city of Rochester and clean them up and cultivate them, and the kids had their own gardens right outside their school, and they had plenty of food to share with their families. This next song is a song by David Mallet. I think it was written back in the mid-1970s, and it's called The Garden Song. So it fits right in with our theme today. Inch by inch, row by row, gonna help this garden grow. All we need is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, someone bless these seeds I sow. someone warm them from below, till the rain comes tumbling down. A pulling weeds, a picking stones, we are made of dreams and bones. Feel the need to grow our own, 'cause the time is close at hand. Grain for grain, sun and rain, find our way in nature's chain. Tune our bodies and our brain to the music from the land. Place your rows straight and long, temper them with prayer and song. Mother Earth will make you strong if you give her love and care. An old crow watching hungrily from his perch in yonder tree. In my garden I'm as free as that feathered thief above. Inch by inch, row by row, oh, to make our garden grow. All we need is a rake and a hoe, a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, gonna help this garden grow. All we need is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Well, that song gives me some good memories of the 1970s. I mentioned earlier that sometimes I'd have some of the kids that came to Animate a Studio to work on their own animation videos, that sometimes I'd have the opportunity to have the kids sing one of my songs. Sometimes we animated a music video to them. This song, I got the kids singing along, and sometimes they're not always that in sync with the words, but it still brings me a lot of joy to hear them singing and giving their enthusiasm to being part of the music. So I'm going to play that song that the kids joined in on. It's called We'll Grow with Love. The butterfly will break free when it is ready, when its wings are full and steady, enough to fly. In the seed that grows up in the sunlight, that reaches for the moonlight, will grow with love. And the flower blooms when it is ready, reveals its love for any who have the eyes to see. When the clouds rain down and cleanse us, the sun will remind us what time has revealed. The butterfly will break free when it is ready, when its wings are full and steady, enough to glide, enough to glide, enough to glide, enough to glide. Well, the kids weren't necessarily all in sync with the words on that song, but sometimes things don't need to be perfect or most beautiful thing to actually share with us some of the spirit that those kids had. Sometimes February and March can be pretty gray, and April sometimes too, but lately we've been seeing more sun and the days are longer, and it'll be great for our plants coming up. This song is called Here Comes the Sun by George Harrison. Here comes the sun, here comes the sun. like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Little darling, the smiles returning to the faces. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. The sun, 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 here it comes. Oh, sun, 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 here it comes. Oh, little darling, I feel that ice is slowly melting. Oh, little darling, it seems like years since it's been clear. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. It's alright. Well, sticking with our springtime planting theme today, and gardens and all that fun stuff. This is a recent song of mine called There's a Garden Where I Go. And it's not so much that garden out there that I'll be working in over the weekend, but it's the creative garden that sometimes I take a stroll in and discover a new song or a new painting. I hope everyone has a creative garden that they can retreat to and disappear and melt into the joys of creating. The song is called There's a Garden Where I Go. There's a garden where I go, a quiet refuge where love can grow. She'll take my hand and then it flows. Where she'll take me I never know, but I ride her gentle waves as she takes me through the caves, and she points the way to love that's there for everyone. There's a garden, won't you come? Take a walk with the sun. You'll feel their warmth as you play. Bathe in her grace, flower every day. And we ride her gentle waves as she takes us through the caves, and she points the way to love that's there for everyone. Lift up your light to shine through the night. The garden's your friend, she'll be there to the end. Lift up your light to shine through the night. The garden's your friend, she'll be there to the end. This is the Fresh Toones Show, and today's theme is springtime planting. So a lot of songs have been about gardening and planting seeds. This next song that I'm going to play for you is a fresh tune called We're Growing. And it was inspired by my young niece at the time, Katie Drake, about 11 or 12, and was at a retreat, and the kids went out into the forest, and they said, write some things that you see out there in the forest that might be related to your life. So she wrote about the stream and things, and it inspired this song called We're Growing.
Sometimes I think my life is like a stream, starting as just a drop of water. Now I'm running down the mountainside, twisting and turning, but I don't mind, 'cause with every stone I pass, I'm growing. I'm growing like the leaves, turning towards the sun. I'm growing like a stream, returning when she comes. 'Cause I'm growing, I'm growing. With each and every rock surpassed, the next one's even larger. But the stream, it keeps on rolling. The mountain keeps the water flowing to the sea. And one day those big old rocks, I will pass them. 'Cause I'm growing like a kid who's just lost their best friend. I'm growing with every tear, takes me further round the bend. 'Cause I'm growing, I'm growing. Well, that mountain, she gives you more than water. And though you're a river now, great and strong, don't ever know, don't ever lose your connection, no. 'Cause you'll surely dry up and die. And we're growing like a log, rotting in the rain. We're growing like the mushrooms growing up in that log shade. 'Cause we're growing, we're growing. Yeah, we're growing, we're growing. Yeah, we're growing, we're growing.
Since the theme of today's show is springtime planting, I thought I'd share this song about a farmer over in sub-Sahara Africa that lived right on the edge of the Saharan desert, and his farm was just being beaten back every year by the desert spreading and taking his and all of his neighbors' farmland eaten up by dust, basically. So Yacoba Saradoga did some experimenting and started to realize that the termites that were on the land that he owned would build these big mounds, but they also would dig all these trenches underneath the ground to connect with these termite developments that they build up above the ground in these big mounds. So he thought about it, and he said, if I could get the rain when it did fall, which is very limited there, to siphon into these tunnels that these termites had built, it would be held there long enough for the plants to take hold, and his farm really started to take off. And even though he was kind of thought of being kind of nutty because he actually encouraged all these termites to build on his land, his farms actually started to prosper. And then he started planting trees to try to build up this barrier from the desert spreading, and it worked. So this was a number of years ago, and he's been recognized in the UN and actually had a position there to share this technique of utilizing what nature had put there. And then by using reason, he was able to connect the things, and now his garden is doing very well in the desert in these areas that they're using this method. has actually held back this climate change that is really devastating the area. This song is called Yakoba the Village Fool.
Yakoba was the village fool. They laughed at everything he tried to do. He fought to save his farm, but his neighbors said, we're leaving ours. Well, Yakoba, he did not run in the heat of that desert sun. He dug holes in the concrete ground. He put in leaves and seeds and even dung. But there was one more ingredient he needed. He found termites were the best for what they'd leave him. 'Cause Yakoba knew they were diggers too. They dug tunnels underneath the fields that he grew. And they held what little rain did fall till those seeds grew big and tall. Well, Yakoba, you see, he wasn't crazed. Well, the government said he must be mad. He just saw things a little differently. He saw friends and things that most couldn't see. And now we should all know that there are many, many ways to grow. Right now we cannot see. Perhaps tomorrow love will reveal. Yes, Yakoba was the village fool. They laughed at everything he tried to do. He fought and saved his farm. Then his neighbors all came back around. 'Cause Yakoba, he did not run in the heat of that desert sun. He dug holes and filled them with love. He grew food where once was dust. 'Cause Yakoba, you see, he wasn't crazed. Though the government said he must be mad. He just saw things a little differently. He saw friends and things that most couldn't see. And now we should all know there are many, many ways to grow. Right now we cannot see. Perhaps tomorrow love will reveal that sometimes it's good to look at things differently, to find new answers that most can't see.
Well, Yakoba certainly used good reason in figuring out how to work with those termites, saved his farm, brought livelihood back to his village, and brought those people that he had left because their farms had been overwhelmed by the desert. I think reason is probably the sweetest gift that nature has given us, and it inspired this next song called Sweet Nature's Brain.
We've been given the gift of reason. Sweet nature, she is blessed. If we refuse, like to invest, then lost ways will be our guest. IQ is just a number. What an insult if we ignore. Let us seek our own inquisition to unlock the prison doors. We've been given the gift of reason. Sweet nature, she is blessed. If we refuse, lack to invest, then lost ways will be our guest. The bars that would deny us appreciation of nature's brain and all the treasures there. It's time we prepare for the breakout to see the reason is our best pal. We've been given the gift of reason. Sweet nature, she is blessed. If we refuse, lack to invest, then lost ways will be our guest. There is nothing sweeter than the nectar in her fresh air. What we've been given here was bestowed with love and care. We've been given the gift of reason. Sweet nature, she is blessed. If we refuse, lack to invest, then lost ways will be our guest. Sweet nature hums along with each bee she invests, in the hope that humans will use reason for what's best.
Well, that's it for this week's Fresh Toones Show. I hope anybody that's planting a garden this week really enjoys communicating with nature and getting your hands dirty or your gloves dirty. Have a great time. Enjoy the sunshine. And thanks for tuning in. So long now. Bye.
And the seed that grows up in the sunlight, that reaches for the moonlight, will grow with love, will grow with love, will grow with love, will grow.